Shalom. Kahalayim La Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Shuran Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the millstone, rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers doing this work in truth and sincerity. Shalom. This is the brother Batak back again through the Spirit with another lesson. Lord willing, it be edifying. This lesson is going to be centered around the age of enlightenment. Basically, it's Esau's rebellion against the law or God itself. But it's just put in fancy terms. But when you get down to the basis of it, he just wanted to do his own damn thing and follow his own damn way and not follow after the guidance of a divine power or divine God. So the age of enlightenment came around the 1800s. But, it says, or also known as the age of reason. Age of reason. It says the age of enlightenment, or the enlightenment, also known as the age of reason, was an intellectual and philosophical movement that occurred in Europe, especially Western Europe, in the 17th and 18th centuries, with global influences and effects. It says the Enlightenment included a range of ideas centered on the value of human happiness, the pursuit of knowledge obtained by means of reason, and the evidence of senses, and the ideals such as natural law, liberty from who? The God of the Bible, from a God, so they could do what they want to do. Natural law. What is natural law? I never looked up natural law. Natural law. In my observation, okay, so let me see. Modern natural law theories took shape in the Age of Enlightenment, combining inspiration for Roman law, Christian scholastic philosophy. It was used in challenging. Oh, here it is. Here's a good piece of, because you gotta find, me personally, all these words and things like that, it's just a waste of energy. I like to get to the point. So what is the real definition? It says the natural law was, this is speaking on natural law. It says it was used in the challenging the authority of the divine right of kings and became an alternative justification for the establishment of a social contract, positive law in government, and thus legal rights in the form of classical republicanism. Okay, so that right there talks about natural law. So it was to go against divine rights of a king. So this is Esau's philosophy of being rebellious and not wanting to follow a theocratic type of government. The word enlightenment. Now, it's a couple words I want to get down here in one of these passages. Here it is down here at the bottom, the third last paragraph. It says, the central doctrines of the Enlightenment was individual liberty. What does that mean? Civil liberties are guaranteed and freedoms that governments commit not to abridge either by constitution, legislation, or judicial interpretation without due process. Let's see. Wait. Individual liberty. Okay, the central doctrines of the Enlightenment were individual liberty, and religious tolerance. What does that mean? Religious tolerance may signify no more than forbearance and the permission given to the adherents of a dominant religion for other religions to exist, even though the latter are looked on with disapproval as inferior, mistaken, or harmful. Okay, it says, in opposition to an absolute monarchy and the fixed dogmas of the church, the concepts of utility and sociability were also crucial in the dissemination of information that would better society as a whole. The Enlightenment was marked by an increasing awareness of relationship between the mind and the everyday media of the world, and by an emphasis of the significant movement and reductionism, along with increased questioning of rigid religious orthodoxy and attitude captured by Kant's essay answering the question, what is enlightenment? What the phrase subcure dare to know can be found. So this is all big fancy talk, smooth words for Esau not wanting to follow after a theocratic government. Now let's go up to the word theocracy. Theocracy definition. Okay, it says theocracy, government by divine guidance or by officials who are regarded as divinely guided. In many theocracies, government leaders are members of the clergy, and the state legal system is based on religious law. And that's exactly what Esau wanted to get rid of. Theocratic rule was typical of early civilizations, especially of the Israelites, because that was the right way to be, a theocratic government, a government ruled by God being the supreme power, and us following his laws. It says the Enlightenment marked the end of theocracy in most Western countries, and that's exactly why America today is out of order. Contemporary examples of theocracies include Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the Vatican. See also church and state sacred kingship. Sacred kingship. It says religious and political concept by which a ruler is seen as an incarnation, manifestation, mediator, or agent of the sacred or holy. That's what in today's terms, that's what Yahushua will be. He will be a sacred kingship, a so-called leader of the world. He's going to be the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So this would be a great example of Yahushua. It says the transcendent or supernatural realm. The concept originated in prehistoric times, but it continues to exert a recognizable influence in the modern world. At one time, when religion was totally connected with the whole existence of the individual, as well as that of the community, and with kingdoms were in various degrees connecting the religious powers or religious institutions, that could be no kingdom that was not in some sense sacral. Among the many possible kinds, I can't see the full article, but if you go up, it says one of the related topics is the divine right of kings. Divine right of kings. It says divine right of kings in European history, a political doctrine in defense of monarchical absolutism, which asserted the kings derived their authority from God. And that's true. That is true. Now let's get some precepts to back that up. The divine right of kings. This is Psalms 75 and verse 6. It says, I'm gonna start at 5. It says, lift not up thine horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another. Now, I got that precept because the Lord is the one that puts people on the throne. Now, the power of a king, here it is, Ecclesiastes 8:4. It says, where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what doest thou? So the power of a king is, there's always been a monarchy. It's a type of government where one man rules. And the only person that's over that man is God himself, the powers himself, Monarchy. A monarchy, a kingdom, territory ruled by a monarch, ruled by one person with supreme power, sovereignty, absolute power. And if you read all throughout the scriptures, they have been kings that ruled over the nation of Israel, and there were kings that ruled over the other nations also. You know, for example, King Nebuchadnezzar, he ruled over the Neo-Babylonian Empire. King Solomon, King David. There has always, ever since the time of Judges, the Lord always had a king. That means it was a monarchy. Because the king was the leader of the people. The king is the person that led the people. You know, hold on, let me see. Here it is. The first king was Moses. The first king over Israel was Moses. It's a scripture. It's in Deuteronomy 30. Here it is. It's the book of Deuteronomy 33:1. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of the Most High, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Yahweh came from Sinai and rose from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand. And they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jezreel when the heads of the people in the tribes of Israel were gathered together. So Moses was technically a king. So all throughout the scriptures, there have been monarchies or the divine right of kings. The divine right of kings says in European history, a political doctrine in defense of monarchical absolutism, which asserted the kings derived their authority from the Most High, which that's true. The Lord is the one that puts kings on the thrones. And he's the ones that take kings down. He set it down one and set it up another. Take it down one, set it up another. If you're a wicked king, he gonna remove you. And yet the real king that's gonna rule in righteousness is Yahweh Shai. It says, and could not therefore be held accountable for their actions. No, that's not true. That's not true, because if a king is wicked, the Lord gonna judge they motherfucking ass. Nobody's above the law when it comes to the Lord. When it comes to Yahweh Shem Shai, nobody is above the law. Everybody is under the law, man. You know, the law, statutes, commandments when it comes down to Israel. But when Yahweh Shai takes over, the law is going to be forced on all nations. So therefore, you're going to have to follow the law. Nobody's going to be above the law. It says, for their actions by an earthly authority, such as a parliament, originating in Europe, the divine right theory can be traced to the medieval conception of God's award of temporary power to the political ruler, paralleling the award of spiritual power to the church. By the 16th and 17th centuries, however, the new national monarchs were asserting their authority in matters of both church and state. Okay, so we have a monarchy, a kingdom, territory ruled by a monarch, ruled by one person with supreme power. And that's what a king does. He has a monarchy. And this form or this type of government will come back into the earth, because this new Enlightenment, age of Enlightenment, which strayed the Western world away from a theocratic government, is going to be taken out. You know, ain't going to be no age of enlightenment in the kingdom, man. Everybody going to have to follow the law, the law, statutes, commandments of the Bible. Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and a law that endureth forever. All that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. And that's what happened when Esau came up with the theory of the age of enlightenment, and following after basically getting rid of the power, and separating the church and state, separating the church from so-called religious law, separating religious law, and they came over with their own forms of government. I read on an article, which I couldn't find it. It might be on my laptop, that basically Esau, he wanted to separate the government up into three forms of government, like judicial, legislation, and I believe political. But see, that's the same thing that America does today. There are branches of government. Power is separated. And this is a new thing. This is not the old way of things being done. Okay, yeah, it was an article that said, how did Enlightenment change politics? I'm looking on my phone right now. One of the key things was the separation of powers. I'm going to just read a couple things. This is on my laptop. I'm going to read a couple things. It says the separation of powers. The Baron D. I'm not going to say that word, argued that power should not be consecrated in just one person. Instead, he called for a balanced distribution of power between executive, legislation, and judicial authorities. Enlightenment thinkers similarly called for a separation of church and state, the idea that government should not interfere in religious affairs and vice versa. So these devils, they didn't want the government to interfere with religious affairs, and they didn't want the religious law to interfere with the government. It says writers such as Voltaire were highly critical of religion's outsized influence in Europe policy making, which had contributed to generations of conflict on the continent. So he was against the religious law, so to speak, religious influence in policy and government making, which if you don't govern your nation by so-called religious law or the law of the Bible, then it's going to end in complete turmoil. And that's what we're experiencing today. So everything that we experience in America is because of these philosophies, such as the Age of Enlightenment, which Esau, he follows after this. That's why we have the different branches of government. It says the federal government is composed of three different distinct branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. Now, boom. Now what we just read? What did I just read about the Age of Enlightenment? Whose powers are vested by the U.S. Constitution and Congress, the president, and the federal courts, respectively. Now, what did I just read, man? What did I just read in the Age of Enlightenment? So Esau follows after this philosophy. They follow after this. As you can see, the power the provided of separation of powers. This is that government that Esau desired. But Yahweh Shai is coming to rule, and it will be a monarchy. And there will be different levels to government, but Yahweh Shai is going to be the king of all. Let me get a precept real quick, because this is our king that we want to rule. Luke 19:27. It says, But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. So if you don't want Yahweh Shai to reign over you, you're gonna be killed. Yahweh Shai is known in the Bible as the King of Kings. He is gonna be the supreme ruler. Let's get the book of Daniel 7. Daniel 7 and 13. Daniel 7 and 13, it says, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, which is talk about Yahweh Shai. It's in the chariots. It says, and came to the Ancient of Days, which is the Heavenly Father. And they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom. That was given to who? Dominion during the kingdom. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is going to bring a new government, the old government, back into power. That theocracy type government, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, in the kingdom which shall not be destroyed. This is the book of John 18 and verse 33. It says, Then Pilate entered into judgment hall again and called Yahweh Shai and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews? Which he is. Yahweh Shai answered him, saying, sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell thee of me? Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Yahweh Shai answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Yahweh Shai answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. So Yahweh Shai made it. Hold on. Yahweh Shai was a king, but the point I wanted to get was his kingdom is not of this world, which Yahweh Shai is coming to establish his kingdom. He was given that dominion, he was given that power, and soon he was given that glory, and soon we're going to see everything that he has received. He's coming to, here it is, Matthew 2 and 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not amongst the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor which shall rule my people Israel. Right, that's that king. He's going to rule, And the scriptures speak about it many of times, man. How Yahweh Shai is going to rule over the nations, man. Revelations 2 and verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come, which these are words of Yahweh Shai. Hold on to this word till he come, and continue in the word. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Because Yahweh Shai has been given that authority, and he's going to be sharing it with the elect. And he shall rule with them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Now, I'm going to get a couple more precepts. Remember, Yahweh Shai said he received that from his Father. Revelations 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The age of enlightenment is a vain thing, It says the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed. Right, which is what example of that is the age of enlightenment. They came against the laws of the Lord, and they wanted to separate the church from the state, which they did, which separates the power of the religious law and separates religious law from the government. If they would have followed after religious law, there would be no homosexuals, and there wouldn't be a lot of things that goes on will be governed by the scriptures and by the Most High, which is by the scriptures. It says, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. So that's what Esau did. He wanted to break away from the traditional, the Western way of, the old way of doing things, and come up with this new form of government. Which they also had that during the Roman Empire. If I'm not mistaken, they had that type of government in the Roman Empire. I could be wrong, but another precept I was thinking of just escaped my mind. I believe it's in Job. Damn. Oh, Job 21, is it? 22? It was basically about, hold on. Here it is, the book of Job 21 and verse 14. It says, therefore, they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit shall we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. So this is the mind of Esau, and this is one of the reasons why he was born to be the wicked. He is the wicked of the earth. He's totally contrary against the Bible. And the age of Enlightenment was a great example of Esau being against the Most High and against the Lord. That was a great example of that. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. I'm going to close out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shah by Shemel Kakadash. Up on us to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, rule teach well. Peace, love, and salutations to the brothers and his work, truth and sincerity. Shalom, Kom Yasha Allah, wa Baba Ba, wa Ba Shalom.